You didn't lose them when they left. You lost them the moment you stopped chasing. Because here's the truth, no one tells you some people don't realize your value when you love them. They realize it when you finally become unreachable. And the strange part? The same person who felt nothing serious about you starts feeling everything the moment you disappear. Not because they suddenly became better, but because your absence finally became louder than your presence ever was. And if you've ever been replaced, ignored, or emotionally shut out, this is the moment your story stops repeating. There is a silent war that happens in relationships with avoidant hearts, a war where love is given but never fully received. You gave presence, they gave distance. You gave consistency, they gave confusion. And somewhere in that imbalance, you started believing you were not enough. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. You were never chasing love. You were chasing emotional availability from someone who only knew how to retreat. And when you finally disappear, something unexpected begins. Not in you, in them. When you finally stop chasing someone who was never emotionally present in the way you needed, something strange begins to happen in the invisible space between two people. It is not loud. It does not come with apologies or dramatic returns. It begins in silence, in the absence of your energy, in the gap where your attention used to live. And for an avoidant personality, that gap is not empty, it is unfamiliar. Because for a long time, your presence was the emotional background noise of their life. Even when they didn't respond fully, even when they pulled away, even when they acted detached, they still relied on the fact that you would remain. That you would be there tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. That predictability created a kind of emotional comfort for them, even if they never admitted it. But the moment you withdraw, not in anger, not in protest, but in quiet self-respect, something shifts inside their perception. It is not that they suddenly discover love. It is that they suddenly lose access. And for someone avoidant, access is often mistaken for safety. When you are always reachable, they can keep their distance without consequence. They can delay emotional responsibility without losing connection. But when you disappear, you interrupt that system. You remove the option of later. And that interruption creates discomfort they are not used to processing. At first, they may not react at all. In fact, the silence might even appear to confirm what they already believe, that emotional distance is normal, that detachment is control, that nothing truly meaningful is lost. But beneath that surface assumption, the mind begins to register something different. Not emotional longing in the way you experience it, but cognitive disorientation. The absence of your presence creates a void where their familiar emotional patterns used to operate. They check their phone out of habit. They expect your energy in spaces where it used to appear. And when it is not there, the mind begins to ask questions that were previously unnecessary. This is where the shift begins, not in emotion but in awareness. And awareness for someone avoidant is uncomfortable because it removes their ability to stay passive. When you were present, they could avoid engagement while still benefiting from connection. But when you disappear, the balance collapses. There is no longer a passive option. They either confront what they avoided or they sit with the discomfort of your absence. And here is where most people misunderstand what happens next. It is not immediate regret. It is not instant realization of love. It is something more subtle and far more psychologically complex. They begin to lose control over how you exist in their emotional landscape. Before, they could compartmentalize you, keep you in a space that was accessible only when convenient. But absence removes compartmentalization. It forces the mind to process unfinished emotional material without structure. This is why your silence becomes powerful. Not because silence itself has magic, but because it removes stimulation. And when stimulation is removed, the brain starts to fill gaps with interpretation. Avoidant individuals are not deeply connected to emotional processing in real time, but they are highly responsive to delayed reflection. That means they often do not feel the full weight of connection until the connection is no longer actively available to regulate. In that absence, something unexpected happens. They begin to replay fragments. Not full emotional memories, but selective impressions. A moment where you showed patience. A moment where you stayed longer than you should have. A moment where you asked for clarity and they avoided giving it. These fragments do not immediately create guilt. They create disruption in their internal narrative. Because the story they told themselves, this was not that serious. This was manageable. This will always be available, no longer holds the same stability. And instability creates curiosity. Not emotional commitment, but cognitive curiosity. Why did you leave? Why did you stop trying? Why did something that once felt consistent suddenly become unreachable? These questions are not driven by love in the beginning. They are driven by loss of predictability. And for an avoidant mind, predictability is often more important than emotional depth, at least initially. Meanwhile, the person who disappeared begins to transform. And this transformation is the part the avoidant did not anticipate. They expected emotional collapse. They expected you to remain stuck in pursuit, waiting for validation that never fully arrives. But instead, you start rebuilding, slowly at first, quietly, without announcement. You begin redirecting your energy back into yourself, and with each step, you reduce their psychological access to you. This is where perception begins to change. Because avoidant individuals often operate under the subconscious assumption that emotional availability equals emotional permanence. If someone is available, they assume they will remain available. If someone is consistent, they assume that consistency is infinite. So when you shift into absence, their internal model of you begins to break. And when internal models break, the mind attempts to reconstruct them. That reconstruction is where you become larger in their memory than you were in their experience. Not because you changed, but because their access to you changed. And distance amplifies perception. It removes irritation, conflict, pressure, and leaves behind selective emotional residue. They remember less of the tension and more of the presence. Less of the arguments and more of the familiarity. Less of the avoidance and more of the comfort they did not consciously acknowledge at the time. But even in this reconstruction, there is still resistance. Because admitting value means admitting loss. And for someone who built emotional distance as a form of control, loss feels like vulnerability. So the mind oscillates between dismissal and curiosity, between detachment and reflection, between logic and emotional discomfort. What they are really reacting to is not your absence alone, but their inability to influence it anymore. That loss of influence creates a psychological imbalance. And in that imbalance, your presence begins to re-enter their awareness, not as something they actively pursue, but as something they cannot fully ignore anymore. And this is where the first true shift takes place. Not in reunion, not in apology, but in recognition. The recognition that something familiar is no longer accessible on demand. And for someone who has built emotional patterns around distance, that recognition can be more impactful than any confrontation ever was. Because distance changes the meaning of your presence. It transforms you from someone who is always available into someone who is no longer guaranteed. And that transformation is what initiates the internal reevaluation that avoidant individuals rarely experience while still in direct emotional comfort. There is a moment in every emotionally imbalanced connection where something subtle flips when you stop reacting the way you used to. No more long explanations. No more emotional chasing. No more trying to fix what was never being held with care in the first place. And at first, it looks like nothing changes on their side. They continue their distance. Their silence remains intact. Their behavior may even seem unchanged. But underneath that surface, something far more important is shifting. Their ability to predict you is breaking. Avoidant personalities are not just disconnected from emotional depth, they are deeply tuned to patterns. They rely on consistency of response more than consistency of feeling. When you used to respond emotionally, they knew what would happen next. If they pulled away, you reached. If they went cold, you warmed things up. If they delayed, you waited. That pattern gave them subconscious control without them needing to actively take it. But the moment you stop reacting, you disrupt the entire emotional algorithm they were operating on. Now, they don't know what version of you they will get. Will you respond? Will you stay silent? Will you explain? Will you detach? That unpredictability creates a psychological shift in how they observe you. And here's where something interesting happens. Their silence becomes active. Not passive. Not empty. Active. Because now, instead of managing your emotional responses, They begin managing their perception of you. They start paying attention in ways they never did before. Not because they suddenly respect you more, but because their internal map of you is no longer reliable. And when someone can no longer predict your reactions, they begin to watch you more carefully. Not out of emotional connection, but out of recalibration. They notice timing. They notice absence. They notice the absence of emotional pressure they once took for granted. And that absence does something uncomfortable. It forces reflection without engagement. You are no longer feeding their avoidance cycle. You are no longer participating in the dynamic that allowed emotional distance to remain stable. And without your reaction, they are left alone with the consequences of their behavior, even if they don't consciously name it that way. But the most powerful part is this: your non-reaction removes their emotional leverage, because what once triggered a response from you no longer works. And when emotional leverage stops working, the dynamic begins to collapse internally, even if externally nothing appears changed. And slowly, without announcement, they begin to observe you differently, not as someone chasing, not as someone waiting, but as someone who is no longer emotionally predictable. And unpredictability in a previously controlled emotional system feels like loss of access. There is something most people never see coming after they detach from an avoidant connection: the echo effect. At first, your absence feels like silence, but over time, silence begins to develop shape. It starts to carry weight. It begins to repeat internally in their thoughts at unexpected moments. This is not love returning. This is emotional echo, when someone's nervous system starts replaying the absence of a person who used to regulate their emotional environment. Even if indirectly, when you were present, even in pain, even in confusion, even in imbalance, you were still part of their emotional rhythm. You were the person who filled gaps, responded, adjusted, softened tension, and maintained connection even when they didn't. But now that rhythm is gone, and the brain, especially one that relied on intermittent emotional engagement, does not process sudden emotional emptiness smoothly. Instead, it replays fragments, not because it misses love in a conscious sense, but because it misses regulation. They might remember your patience in a moment where they gave nothing back. They might remember your effort when they were emotionally absent. They might remember your presence during times they themselves were disconnected. And these memories do not come with immediate guilt. They come with disorientation. Because the mind begins to ask, why does this feel different now that it's gone? And that question is where emotional echo begins. It does not happen as one big realization. It happens in waves. Small internal interruptions. Moments where something reminds them of you, not because you are trying to be remembered, but because absence has created contrast. And contrast is what turns ordinary memories into emotionally charged reflections. But here's the deeper truth. They are not missing you the way you once wished. They are experiencing the absence of emotional regulation you provided. That difference matters, because it explains why avoidance does not immediately transform into pursuit. It transforms into internal noise first: confusion, reflection, reinterpretation. And in that process, your image becomes more significant, not because of what you did, but because of what is no longer there to replace it. One of the most destabilizing effects of your disappearance is not what they feel about you, is what they begin to question about themselves. Avoidant individuals often build emotional safety by minimizing depth. They rationalize distance. They justify withdrawal. They create internal narratives that allow them to avoid emotional responsibility while still maintaining self-image. But when you leave completely without chasing, without collapsing, without continuing the cycle, those internal narratives start to weaken, because your behavior no longer matches their explanation. If you were not that important, why did your absence feel different? If they were just not ready, why does your silence feel heavier than expected? If everything was under control, why does something now feel unresolved? These contradictions do not immediately lead to emotional accountability. They lead to internal questioning. And questioning is the beginning of narrative breakdown. They start replaying interactions differently. Not because they suddenly became more emotional, but because their original interpretation no longer fits the outcome. This is where memory becomes unstable. They might remember moments where you expressed hurt and they dismissed it. But now, those moments carry a different tone. They no longer feel neutral. They feel incomplete. They might remember times they pulled away and you still stayed. But now, those memories don't feel comfortable. They feel like imbalance they previously ignored. And slowly, their mind begins to reconstruct the story not from emotional maturity, but from psychological discomfort. But here is the crucial detail. They are not yet ready to accept full responsibility. So instead, they oscillate between self-justification and quiet curiosity. And that oscillation is what creates internal tension. Because for the first time, the narrative they built to protect emotional distance is no longer stable enough to fully support their identity. And when identity-based narratives weaken, reflection begins to enter even the most avoidant minds. The final shift happens when your absence becomes longer than your presence in their immediate emotional environment. At this stage, something irreversible begins to form: contrast. They compare then and now without consciously trying to. The presence you once provided becomes the reference point for your absence. And the absence becomes sharper because of that comparison. What once felt like routine emotional availability now feels like something missing. Not because they suddenly transformed emotionally, but because contrast exposes emotional gaps that were previously normalized. And here is where avoidance meets reality in a way it cannot fully bypass. Because avoidance works best when emotional contrast is low. When nothing feels dramatically different, detachment can remain comfortable. But when contrast becomes strong, when your presence is no longer accessible at all, the emotional system loses its ability to normalize the gap. They begin noticing the spaces where your energy used to be. Not physically, but emotionally. Conversations feel different. Silence feels different. Even their own reactions feel different. But instead of moving directly into emotional resolution, they enter reflection through discomfort. And this is where your absence becomes more powerful than your presence ever was, not because you became more valuable suddenly, but because contrast revealed what emotional consistency was silently providing. And even then, nothing is immediate. There is no dramatic confession, no sudden clarity, no cinematic return. There is only a slow internal realization that something has shifted in a way they can no longer fully ignore. And by the time they begin to understand it, you are no longer standing in the same emotional place they left you in. You are already gone from the pattern that once defined the connection.